Hey.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Martin.
There.
Oh, dude. Martin is saying hey in Portuguese now.
Might as well speak some Portuguese before I die of COVID. Right? So, hey, welcome to Bodega Nights. My name is Martin, and we're hitting the 1 million mark here. Oh, that's Norm, and that is Joao.
Hey.
How you guys doing? And are there no congratulations right now? Because we just hit the 1 million kisses mark, baby!
This is like the web ad in the 90s where you're the 1 millionth website visitor, and instead of getting a prize, you get the disease.
Or the dancing baby.
Oh man, I miss that. I miss the old days of the internet, dude.
Me too. Like, not woke Twitter. Oh, I'm sorry. That's in the mid part of this episode. I'm sorry.
When all my internet... Man, do you remember using Yahoo Search instead of Google?
Or American Online.
Remember Ask Jeeves, dude?
Oh, man.
Oh, right. Yeah, I never played that, but yeah, I heard about that.
When my parents were telling me that I actually can't get onto AOL because we're not in America.
That's a lie. You can.
No, what was the other thing that I remember was being all in on Lycos. I was like, man, Yahoo, that's for sellouts.
All right, kids. Now you know how old we are.
I miss Netscape Navigator.
Oh, wow. Netscape. That really confused me. That really threw me off when I saw Netscape for the first time.
Why is there like this thing that we use in boats there? Like the ship wheel, right? Yeah,
yes.
That thing. Ah, God.
What's the big N?
Baby. It's the big enorm. Yeah.
So like
I thought Netscape.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So I wanted to actually get us on topic.
No, man. I just wanted to say that the wheel of a boat, the whatever this
goes round and round.
Is it mast? Is it called a mast or something else?
Well, whatever it is, man. Else. Like to people that aren't up on their parts of a boat, it must have felt like how I think kids these days feel when they see like the save button on Microsoft
on
products.
Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
They never saw the physical version of that.
Right, so it makes me wonder, like what they think.
We have to introduce them to 90s cartoons because that icon is used a lot to destroy the world for nuclear launch codes. Like from Shredder to Sailor Moon to that Street Sharks or tattooed teenage mutants from California or Los Angeles or something.
I mean, I want to say we've gone on to more sophisticated designs and interfaces, and the computers are more advanced now. But on the other hand, we have TikTok, so...
Yes, TikToks. Oh, congratulations to the TikTokers and the Zoomers who apparently cut a certain Trump rally in half in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I hope you guys only reserved tickets and not actually bought the tickets, because if you actually bought the tickets, guys, you just funded your enemy. So congratulations on cutting them in half, and if you bought that, congratulations, y'all just played yourselves.
Is this your transition into the Libel thing?
Actually, yes. I heard like a day after we recorded, there was a decision of the NBI on a certain popular news outlet here in the Philippines that starts with an R.
Wait, are you talking about Mocha Uson? Because like the NBI has been doing investigation on her.
That's just yesterday, not 6 days ago. We're talking about R and ends with Appler.
Man.
Ooh. All right.
You wanted to talk about this, Joao, and I know there's a certain topic of the cybercrime law you want to talk about, and it talks about libel. And about libel, what is it?
Here's the thing, right? Well, first off, the cybercrime law was a pretty bad idea in the first place, man. And please don't give former President Aquino a free pass on this, because he was the one that signed it into law.
Amen.
But like the thing that I really want to point out is something that isn't really really isn't prevalent in the conversation in and around the conviction of Maria Ressa for libel. The fact that we have to say she was convicted for libel is a big problem, right? Because again, going back to the cybercrime law, if you read the dissenting opinion of of Associate Justice Leonen on the cyber libel part of the cybercrime law, he talks about how there is no place for libel as a criminal offense in a civilized society. Like, libel ought not to be a criminal offense, but it ought to be simply a civil offense, and that isn't being talked about. Right.
For those of us who haven't gone through law school, what's the difference between a criminal and a civil offense?
Right. It has to do with liability and who the offended party is sa actions of somebody, right? So there is a difference in who is affected when, say, somebody doesn't pay their loan and when somebody gets murdered, right? When somebody doesn't pay their loan, the offended party is, well, a private person. But when somebody is murdered, there is, like, all of a sudden, the state suddenly has skin in the game, right? Because if you have a murderer out there, the state is no longer safe. So where the offended party is just a private person, you have civil liability. When the offended party is the state, or the state and a private person, as in the case of like murder, rape, that is a crime.
Okay, so how does that read? It says going to be like the difference between an individual case versus a state case.
Yeah, it's going to be like it's like let's say that Barb and Bia, right? Barb owes Bia money. Barb doesn't pay Bia, so Bia sues Barb to pay the money back. That would be Bia versus Barb, right? That's what the case looks like. Now let's say that person A murders person B. What happens is the prosecutor comes in and on behalf of the state sues person A, or not sues. That's the wrong word. What's the word for it? I can't remember the term for it. It's like a really basic term that I completely forgot. But whatever. Well, they prosecute them for murder, and that's when you have a People of the Philippines versus person A.
So that's a basic distinction between the civil and the criminal case. It's going to be who is on the piece of paper as the offended party.
Yeah, or as the person that's bringing the action to the court. No?
Right.
And there's also a difference. There's also a difference in quote unquote penalty, right? Because like in civil cases, what tends to happen is you get the relief that is due to you, right? So in the case of like an unpaid loan, you might get the loan amount plus the interest that is owed you, plus maybe like damages, which is like extra money, So like in those cases in the US where somebody spills hot coffee on their lap and like McDonald's has to pay them whatever, those are called damages, right? That's civil in nature. Now, if somebody is convicted of a crime, the liability of that person isn't only for the civil aspect. So maybe like paying the money or paying like the funeral expenses of a murdered like person to the family or whatever. But there is also like fines and imprisonment. So a fine is a sum of money that you pay the government or you pay the state, and imprisonment is deprivation of liberty, right? So when you look at libel, question, who is the offended party? I will argue that it's not the state. There is no like compelling reason for the state to lock somebody up for publicly shaming someone.
fair, I think I'm on to. I believe I agree with you on this one. Just because it shouldn't be the state who's lodging the complaint.
Right? Because it was people of the Philippines versus Maria Ressa and or
Yes.
whatever. Right?
That was a
shouldn't be
pretty big thing.
Right? It shouldn't be a people of the Philippines case. If anything, it should have been that
The
group,
aggrieved
whatever-
party.
Yeah.
The aggrieved party. Kang or something?
Yeah.
Liu Kang?
Liu Kang,
Yeah.
like the Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah.
That wasn't his actual name, though, right? Whatever his name was. But like, yeah, it's that's where the liability should. That's the type of liability that should be parang carried with libel.
Right.
So I don't know, man. There, what's his face? Associate Justice Leon in his dissent of the cybercrime law mentioned that by having libel as a criminal offense, you are opening a can of worms, or a potential can of worms, which would allow the state to suppress free speech.
Because the state can file libel.
Right? Yeah, they can use that. But then, the theoretical counter argument niya
As a criminal offense.
was saying na, but then what about those people that are publicly shamed, right? There has to be some sort of recourse. If somebody like on you on Twitter, there has to be some sort of recourse because it could cause you, like legit psychological damage, right?
That's why
so-
it's a civil suit.
That's why it ought to be a civil suit.
Yeah,
And,
one aggrieved party versus the defendant.
Yeah, so that's the so that's the thing. It shouldn't be criminal in nature for one, no? And
So we're talking about the analogy of a playground bully, and then the dad comes in and stop fighting my son.
although what's interesting about this particular case was if it was a civil case, or if it were civil in nature, we wouldn't be getting the nice headlines like, was it 6 months to 6 years yata yung
Yes.
nasa penal code, diba? 6 months to 6
Yes, 6 months to 6 years.
But it would be but then it would have been much easier for Kang to get them into trouble, if you will, because the degree that parang if it is a criminal case, the burden that the prosecutor has to, or what the prosecutor has to prove, is that this act was committed by this person beyond reasonable doubt. So that's a much higher standard than with civil cases. When it comes to civil cases, all you have to show is a preponderance of evidence that would lead somebody to reasonably believe that the person did the thing that you're accusing them of. So it would have been a lot easier to get Rappler into trouble if it were purely civil. But it wouldn't have been fun. But it wouldn't have the same impact in a way.
Yeah, kasi dispute lang yun kung civil suit lang.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily liable to jail time.
Yeah, it shouldn't have jail time associated with it.
Parang kung civil suit siya, so parang fines lang
Hindi.
Fines.
Hindi, kasi
We're just talking fines.
hindi, fines are paid to the state.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's the difference. There's a difference between a fine and what we call damages. Damages is a sum of money that's paid to the aggrieved party. So
Okay, so we're talking damages lang siya kung civil suit.
Yeah.
Okay. Walang risk of jail time because it's a civil suit. Yeah, okay, sige. Given the scenario, yeah, might have been better as a civil suit versus a criminal case, but it is what it is right now.
Yeah. This is my problem with this is my problem with the anti-terror bill and the anti-cybercrime law, because you can have provisos and guidelines and stuff on like how to properly implement the law. You can put it within the law itself that it's not going to be used as a for an oppressive state to curtail freedom of speech, etc., etc. When it came to the penalties for libel, right? The Supreme Court in 2011, I don't know, 2000, in the mid 2000s maybe, came up with an administrative circular that gave judges of the lower courts parang guidelines on what like how to dish out penalties for libel. But then those are simply guidelines, and what you find in the law isn't like no amount of guidelines can take away the criminal nature of libel. It's still on the books as a criminal offense, and it shouldn't be. And nobody is talking about that.
Speaking of criminal, let's talk compensation.
Did someone say compensation? Oh my god, I'm recording my Audacity through my laptop speakers. This is awkward. Anyway, let's talk about compensation. So there's this weird thing that happened. Like, I was scrolling through Twitter. That's my biggest mistake. Why am I scrolling through Twitter? Because I heard about the tea, that is the sexual harassment cases of pro wrestlers around the world, including Southeast Asia. That said, F you, Alex Cuevas. Apparently there's this site.
Church.
What church?
Go on.
What do you mean church? I thought you were going to say taxation is theft.
No, we're talking about sexual harassment cases. It isn't only the church.
Oh, now I get it. Yeah. It's not like just that episode of South Park, the Catholic boat, right?
But yes, taxation is theft.
Taxation is definitely theft.
Taxation is theft. Give me some money. Anyway, speaking of that, so that took my attention like the first few hours, like yesterday, because oh my god, Jake Gallagher, oh my god, this guy who we met in the Philippine event, and oh my god, all that stuff. And then someone was asking me, hey, don't you write for random blog site? Did you ever get paid? Like, dude, I just contribute and I don't care, because I'm just there to write, get a free pass. So the answer is obviously no, and we talked about this. So, like, I shrugged it off. And then the next day, it's the same thing as well. Like, hey, don't you write for this again? Different person. What's going on? I saw this thing on Twitter. What Twitter? What thing? And there's this thread, and my God, there's something about the contributors not getting paid compensation, not even, like, for their transport issue, like, for their commute or for their gas money. It's not like paying them for the article, like just bare minimum. Give them like the transportation allowance at least. And especially if your writer's not even from Metro Manila, if it's like from the deep south, maybe, or like from the north, like from Baguio or something, going to the Metro Manila area just to feature this. Why not pay them? Well, obviously, there was no features during the pandemic because everyone was staying indoors, so the items get shipped to them. But even the items that get shipped, like we review a cell phone or something, or a laptop.
Right. For backgrounder, for all you listeners out there, there is a media publication currently under fire right now on social media for what is it?
Or not paying.
Underpaying? Not paying at all. Apparently, their writing practices are not paying contributors because they do get freebies from attending events and writing about the event. Yeah,
and from my experience, well, let's go to the good parts later, but let's go back to the product reviews. Like, example, you give me this mug, it's shipped to me. Certain cases, apparently, it's the writer who has to pay to ship them back. And that's weird because I'm also writing for somewhere else, like something tied to another podcaster in channel14.com. Example, one of our writers has to write about a cell phone or a laptop. The shipment is paid by the company. It's not just because we're friends with the company. It's because that's the practice of the company. But sometimes like, really? Y'all gotta pay shipment for the product you're gonna review for free. You're not even gonna be paid for the article. Now you gotta shell out just to give it back.
So this really has Martin wound up, this issue.
Yeah, it's weird because
he was in the thick of it at the time.
I'm having mixed emotions right now on this. Yeah, I thought a 24-hour window is gonna clear my head on this, but the more I reread it, the more it's messed up. And the more I feel bad about the said publication because, well, you can say it's their fault for getting so big within the span of the 8 years I've been with that publication.
8 years, dude.
8 years?
8 years.
Jesus.
Dude, it's 2020.
Get paid, man.
This time.
Shut up, Norm.
As of this time,
we don't get paid for our Channel 14 stuff.
yeah,
We actually
don't
pay.
get paid.
To keep Channel
actually
14
pay-
afloat. If you'd like to support us, become a Patreon, donate to our PayPal. It's on our website. It's channel14.com.
You see that segue?
And yeah.
Back to Martin.
And we're back. So I'm like, dude, what the hell? It's been 8 years since I've been here. The site's been on for almost 11 years by September. I know it started like Channel 14 when we were just bored, broken, and unemployed, and we were just a handful of guys. But it grew to a huge
Now
community.
we're just bored and broke.
A huge following. Yeah,
We're
we're
still a
not just
handful of
bored
guys.
and broke. Not woke. Because woke, you get more broke. So, yeah. I feel bad because this is how you introduce young up-and-coming writers, those who want to be in the whole journalism field. And you're going to say, yo, it's okay to just write something for X deals and shout-outs. Yeah, it's cool if you have another job. If you have another thing to fall back on and you're not depending on this thing to pay you. And I can defend the site and say, well, as a contributor, you know you won't get paid anyway. Why are you demanding this? But I heard from a friend of ours that certain publications actually pay for people to go to said events. Not just the ticket, not just the free seats, not just the free backstage access, but like a way to go there. And not like... It's not a freaking limo. It's just a normal transportation, but it helps.
Okay,
right?
okay. There's what they're...
A lot to unpack here, dude.
There's a lot.
Levels. Many
So
levels.
many. That's why
This is.
I'm just gonna go to the issue of pay because there's a lot of other issues I don't even want to speak. I
Okay.
mean, at this
But you
point,
can't divorce
I think
pay
I can be blocked by now by most of my friends there. I don't care. Y'all can reach me.
You can't, though. You can't divorce all of that. You can't divorce everything else from the issue of pay. But, we're going to have so many levels. It's like a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah.
It's a pay within a pay within a pay.
But on one side, they will say that, you get free exposure and you do develop contacts from working there. And it's voluntary.
Dude, it's true. I have, and I still do. And I'm very grateful. But yeah, go on about the compensation on other publications.
Yeah, and then here's the thing: work is still work, and when you're a content entity like the people in question are, and their bread and butter is basically content, you do have to pay people, not just make sure you keep the lights on. Right? I mean, we're doing this as passion. We know that this isn't really designed to make money. Even if we had even if we wanted to, we didn't want to. But that the publication on fire right now has been live for 8 years more. And
11
more than 8 years. They've more
been
more
there
than
for 8 years.
You were there when they were a small time shop, and now they've grown to epic knowability. So the practices they may have developed way back when they couldn't afford to pay writers shouldn't be acceptable now, right?
Agreed. I agree on that. And that's what disappoints me because I see this site as a family that helped me grow as a content creator. I'm not being disingenuous or I'm not being ungrateful for that, but I feel bad for the newbies. I feel bad for the interns, those who have to go there without the luxury of having a personal driver from their family or some people who can drive them to and from the events. Like if my photographer has his van, like, hey bro, thank you for taking shots or pictures. Hey, where are you driving back home to? Can you drop me off here? No one has that luxury. Not everyone of the contributing writers have that luxury, bro. That's what I'm seeing. And that's what I'm saying. If there is a probable systemic change, maybe they should start looking into giving contributors who have to go to certain features, because there are features that they just have to deliver the product. They can do a review, they can write it up, it's good. But certain features, as in where you have to go to the concert, where you have to go to the pop culture event. I mean, y'all can give them the gold pass, platinum pass, like the biggest pass you can have in that event, but at least give them compensation or a money back from the bus fare they had to do or the taxi fare they had to, to take just to get there, just to go from Ortigas to Pasay for an APCC or a Toy-Con. When you're from Parañaque, you have to go to Mega Mall.
Right. I guess if we're analyzing it from a different perspective, the outrage that the company is getting right now is, I guess, for people who wanted to apply to be a contributor to the company, and yet when they found out the guidelines, they found out that contributors are not being compensated, which is probably not what they were expecting, especially if they've worked with other outfits before.
Exactly. And it's not even exclusive to this site, because from my very minimal experience in publishing, like I was just a ride-on for some guy who was writing a breakfast magazine or something. I wrote some article there. I never got paid. So I thought, oh, that's normal because I just contributed to this magazine. And lo and behold, no, I should have gotten paid. I should have gotten paid. I just
never
got free
do
lunch.
something.
Free lunch that was kind of cold because we have to take test shots on that. Norm, I think you were doing some photography before, like for food. So, it's going to take a few minutes before you have to eat that food. So it's either it's still hot or it's
photography
already
or
cold.
photography for food, because those are two very different things.
Oh, okay.
It's either I'm taking photos for food or I'm taking photos in exchange for food.
Yeah.
We'll take photos for food.
Well, I usually go to features to have food, so I will write for food. Literally, will write for food.
That's a sad. It's not a.
It's
okay,
not sad. It's actually, I met a lot of people.
Yeah,
do that, and I don't mind because, like I said, it's not my be-all, end-all. It's like just a side gig that just to pass time. It's
you
literally
can't really
a passion
call
project.
it a side gig. It's really a passion project for you.
Yeah, because I don't expect to get paid in the first place, but some do. That's why I'm saying I'm so privileged in this case, but at the same time, I can see the other side of the coin, and it's not cool for them. It's not fair for them. And I feel bad because I wasn't there to help them out. It's like, I know I could have reached out, but I couldn't anymore because I'm gone. I'm not active.
They should write somewhere else.
Exactly. That's a part of me that wants to say that without sounding like a dick. And it's not like they'll listen to this podcast episode anyway. So if they get this audio clip, it's like, you have the option to not go to that site if you don't want to
Martin,
not be compensated.
You're in Brazil,
can
so
write.
when in Brazil?
Yeah, I'm in Brazil. That's why I don't have to go.
As the saying goes.
But then if no other company will take them and they really do want to go to that event, then is that not compensation?
Yeah, that's compensation enough. It's like I get to write WrestleMania for free, and all I have to do is pay a bus ticket. I don't even need you to give my money back because I'm gonna write for your site freaking WrestleMania. You don't have to pay me because that's WrestleMania.
Actually, I saw some of the threads that you were talking about, Martin, and some of the defending threads were kind of
it's off
first worldy for me. Like, what was that? Somebody was defending it with, I wanted to watch Madonna, so the first chance I got signed on with to get first dibs on free Madonna tickets, right?
That's true. That is true. Like, dude, I wanted to go to this concert, or I wanted to go to this wrestling event. Screw the dib system. I will PM the editor. Cause it's not because we're just friends, cause that editor knows I will deliver. Not like someone who'll say dibs and then last minute, oh, I can't make it. Sorry, guys.
I guess the outrage is coming from the fact that a lot of people, this is their primary line of work. So being asked to contribute for free is outrageous when this is their professional line of work. They're writers. They get paid for per article that they work on. And for newbies, for people who want to break into the industry, this system might work for them. But it's definitely not a long-term solution.
That's what I was gonna mention. This is part of a larger systemic problem. Because when you talk about breaking into an industry, but if you ever go on like job sites and stuff, they're gonna ask you for X number of years of work experience in a related field. Now, if you're coming straight out of college, you're not gonna have like 5 years or whatever working for a publication. No way that's gonna happen.
You gotta have writing samples. You gotta be published somewhere.
Yeah, so, you know.
Yeah. And this is why the site actually helps. That's why I applaud the internship program. But there's a certain thread that got me wanting to get a freaking witch hunt and see who that motherfucker was who's like dissing one of the interns there. But that's another story for another time. The problem is, the whole fresh grads are welcome to apply, but you have to have 10 years of this experience. As a fresh grad, that's bull.
That's a hiring problem. That means that they don't know what they're looking for.
Although to be fair, with like the internet now, I don't know. How many years of experience do we have in like media?
Podcasting?
Yeah, dude.
Podcasting?
Like, we were doing this like
2014?
2013, right? 2013. This was before, 2013. This was before you were with reputable media company in Manila, right, Norm?
Yes.
Like when we started
this
whole Channel 14 thing.
Way before. Yeah.
Right? And this was also before I was in reputable media company in Cebu. Although we can both confidently say that we have at least 7 years of experience with media.
Mm-hmm. And you pay your contributors.
Yes.
So I don't know. You can pad your resume with this if it.
I was just gonna pad my stats with this, a certain site, and Critical Index. By the way, our 69th episode of Third World Gaming featuring Critical Index is coming soon.
Nice.
I really like that. I really like that podcast, like the direction that it's starting to take. You know?
Wait, what did you listen to and which episode? I'm curious why you're liking the direction.
Well, like it's the having guests on. Like I like that format.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the premier podcasting format now. Radio show.
Because everyone is stuck in quarantine. It's the perfect time to get the guests you can't meet up on because they're busy at work or they're stuck at home. And now, with better internet, which is still third world internet, by the way, I can actually talk to them on Zoom or Skype. So I'm happy. Who knew? Thank you, Zoom.
Screw Zoom, dude.
Look at that. The quarantine led to us getting better content. So now, support us with your Patreon money and donate on our PayPal. Go to channel14.com before my voice runs out.
And hashtag pay your contributors, boy.
Yeah, man.
But to end on that, there's just 2 more points I want to stress out.
Just 2 more?
I've not openly talked about it on the Facebook, but I have alluded on it on another SOCMED platform because God knows Twitter is where you can get passive-aggressive.
So the 2 points are?
First point is, I'm kind of wondering about my fellow former writers there who are so active in social commentary, being woke, criticizing the current administration, being anti-misogynistic and anti-patriarchal, yet they are so silent in this situation about compensation on a field they are working on right now. It's like they want to hush themselves on this system they are built on. It's like LeBron James saying, I can't breathe or Black Lives Matter. But when Daryl Morey of the Houston Rockets this is China on the Hong Kong deal, he says Daryl Morey is misinformed about China. Why are you so for China? Is it because of Nike? Is it because of them paying you too? That's what I'm annoyed at, first point. Second point, no matter how messed up I feel about this, how bad I feel about the contributors not getting money, I am grateful for the experience of this blog that has given me. Just like Joao and AJ, when you started this thing, you were bored, broken, and unemployed. Like 8 years ago, specifically on June 2012, I was bored, and I was unemployed. I just left my first job. And then a certain schoolmate of ours invited me to go to this random, restaurant in Quezon City for his food feature at that said site. And from then on, I kept on joining him for 2 or 3 more food features until I started my own feature, and the rest was history. And the year after, when I was unemployed again, 2013, it was through the contacts of this site that I grew to have, where I got a part-time job online. So while I was still
fans only.
I was waiting. No, it wasn't fans only. It was, I think, Upwork.com. Yeah, I got work from Upwork.com thanks to a contact of said blog site. So not only am I grateful for the friends I got or the contacts I got, I actually had a paying online job on the side before getting my current day job. So yeah, I had to quit and then I had to get that day job. That's my second point. I'm still grateful for the opportunity. And I hope and pray that they will do the right steps to address this issue of compensation for their contributors. That's it, really. That's how I want to end this issue for me. The silence and the hope that, while this might bring the site down a peg for now, it will help grow it into something bigger in the future. Because there's nowhere else to go but up if you've been pulled down by this kind of Twitter controversy.
On that first point, man, or on that second point, or on the first of your last 2 points, I really, it's ideological inconsistency. It's tough, no?
Yeah, it's hypocritical to say the least.
When you see it, it's like people that are all like, oh, never again martial law, but then they support like the mayor that's been mayor of Cebu for 20 years since 1987 or something. That's like as many years as Marcos was president. You're complaining about like martial law and tyranny, and here's like a mayor that's been president, has been mayor for as long as the single worst president in Philippine history has been president. Like their ideological inconsistency. The people that complain about this government being autocratic, but at the same time look to Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam as beacons of hope in Southeast Asia, when they're just as autocratic, or they built an autocracy. Apparently, you can be like imprisoned for making fun of the Thai royal family, and it isn't.
Dude,
and it's not true. Like, and it's not even. And it doesn't require malice. At least libel laws in the Philippines require malice, as one of the elements. Like, if you make fun of the Thai royal family, boop, you're in prison, and like they don't really like define it properly. So there's that, right? There's that ideological inconsistency as well. You can't point to the successes of Singapore without saying that, man, Singapore was kind of messed up in the past, but that might have been how they got from malaria swamp to economic powerhouse that it is now. And if you're pissed off about Maria Ressa, you shouldn't be happy that Mocha Uson is under investigation by the NBI, because it's the same law that got them there.
Amen. But I'm kind of happy. Go on. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm kind of happy on both cases. Period.
For me, it's kind of hard to be ideologically consistent there, because like Mocha Uson isn't exactly, great, right? But the complaint against her was, I think, also was it based on the cybercrime law? Or the Baho? I think it's the Bayanihan.
Baho. Yeah, Bayanihan to Heal is one act. But then the fake news thing.
Right, but then the body that investigated the fake news, or the group that investigated the fake news was a creation of the cybercrime law. The internet division or the digital division of the National Bureau of Investigation. That was a product of the cybercrime law. So it was the same thing that hit Maria Ressa that hit Mocha Uson. And I should be equally outraged at both. At least for ideological consistency. It's tough though. But I'm outraged.
Ideologically consistent on both ends because I kind of don't like both entities, so I'm kind of happy. I feel bad because on one entity I have a couple of friends there who work for said person.
Why do you have friends that work for Mocha Uson?
Dick. Well, we have a friend who was working with Mocha Uson at one point.
We did.
And we had friends that worked with Rappler as well.
Yeah. Dude, I just said it, man. I just said it, bro.
Good thing he didn't get sued while he was there. Good thing he wasn't prosecuted for libel.
That's true. That would have been dangerous.
The problem with both of them is that they both got cocky.
Yes, that's why I don't feel bad.
Right?
I feel bad about the people who work under them because they don't deserve that.
The Rappler thing, man. They got cocky. Mocha Uson, because she's I don't know, whatever.
The pet of the president or the admin?
Yeah, whatever.
See, here's the funny part.
Whatever dirt she has on our president,
No, here's the funny part. 2012, when the RH law was, RH bill was trying to be passed, it was that media outlet and Mocha Uson who are pro on that side. They're like a tag team, and now look at them, right? Opposing views now. But still, it's funny. It's just a alliance of convenience.
I haven't seen that way. Huh. It's a new perspective.
What?
Oh, dude, I had to unsee it. Like Mocha Uson trying to be so risque, eating a banana and wearing a nun's outfit and being pro RH. And I know the outfit that's more pro RH, the Rappler during those times, before it was passed. It was a hard thing to unsee.
And on that note, help us pay our contributors. Donate to our PayPal.
Please help Bren take out his electric fan voice so he can upgrade to an aircon. Please hit our PayPal. Voice. So it has to be patreon.com/channel14. And yes, we're on PayPal. Link on the right side of this web browser if you're listening to Bodega Nights on your web browser. But if you're on Spotify, well, F that. Go to channel14.com to know how you can pay us and be a monthly subscriber.
Yeah, what Martin said.
Nice.
69th episode on the way this July, baby.